Hello everyone, and welcome back to Euro Truck Simulator 2, where we left off last time. Ended up with me sort of crashing a bit into a police car and crushing the inhabitants of said car. Anyway, as it happens, I've just loaded in for the first time since then and realised that my truck was a little bit... for the lack of a better word, fucked, I think is the correct term. So I've ended up at a service station here to repair my truck for $29,000, which is quite expensive. Never mind. So that's going to cost us more than this job will, but never mind. You know, that's fine. So this is the second time I've done this introduction, and the reason for that is what I was planning to do with this video has changed. I was originally planning on this video being a really relaxing drive, which hopefully it still will be. I'm not going to go mental like I did last time, don't worry. Although I did enjoy that, but this is just going to be a normal drive. The difference was going to lie in the fact that I was going to turn off my mic and that it was just going to be just the driving, and it was going to be a really just sort of relaxing video that you could maybe go to sleep to or something like that. Now, I've changed my mind. It's still going to be a nice relaxing video, like I say, but I feel like there's an awful lot to talk about in the world right now. And although I don't claim to be a genius, or I don't claim that my insight will be massively valuable to anybody, I still think it's good to talk about it, and I definitely want to address some things, and that you know, obviously I'm talking about the virus that's going around, and the over dramatized nature that I feel surrounds this whole thing, this whole pandemic. Don't get me wrong, it's a serious thing and we need to take it seriously, but I just want to talk about it. Anyway, the drive today, back to Euro Truck, the drive today is going to take us from Hanover. We're going to pick up our trailer, which I believe is in Hanover. I think it's only 5 minutes away. We're going to drive southeast down across Germany and into Austria. I can't remember exactly where in Austria our delivery is. I will double check that as soon as we pick up our trailer. In fact, no, I can look on the freight market, can't I? I can do that here. Is that ours? Yeah, that must be ours. Klagenfurt. There you go. Over here in Austria. Oh, so there we go. I thought it was here in Linz, but actually we're going all the way down to here, to the other side of Austria. Fair enough. And then hopefully do a drive down Italy at some point, but down to Sicily would be quite cool. Oh, and Sardinia, and I forget. Oh, I get confused between these two. One is Sardinia. People are going to shout at me. I can't remember the name of the other one. It will come to me. But yeah, we'll do that in another video. Anyway, let's get started. Let's get into the truck. Let's go pick up that trailer, and let's have a chat about COVID-19. Alright, here we are, back in the truck. Like I said, this is going to be a bit more of a serious video. I like a joke, But like I said, there's a lot going on at the moment. And I think it's worth talking about. Big bump. Big bump. Right, and off we go. So, pick up the trailer. This is about, I know, a recruitment agency. That's nice. 4 minutes away. There you go. I was right. So yeah, this virus then. Very, very interested to know what other people's opinions are about this. Personally, I think that it's definitely a dangerous time, but I also don't believe in what a lot of the media outlets seem to be doing with the whole story. I suppose it's difficult to really say what appropriate coverage of such a thing is, especially seeing as this is the first time, you know, the world has faced such a pandemic in the living history of most of its inhabitants. I mean, you had I suppose connections, I guess, between this and the Spanish flu. Occurred around the time of the First World War, I want to say. Pretty sure. And yeah, you know, I can see why people draw those conclusions. You know, absolutely right. Let's not cut up Monsieur Policeman. Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you. Oh dear. Okay, well, oh shit, we're coming in here, aren't we? Pay attention. I feel like I'm not able. I think I might have to change something on my steering wheel. Try and do this without hitting him. And down. Alright, just had a quick look at some of the settings for my wheel, and I've moved around some cables. When I was trying to turn the wheel, the reason why I wasn't making some of those turns, I was getting stuck on something, and I found a cable that was getting stuck on, so hopefully we'll be okay now. Let's just hitch up to this. Wherever it is, there it is. Slowly back up into this. There we go. Hitch that up. And that's done. Very jubbly. Okay, I forgot what I was talking about before I was so rudely interrupted by technical difficulties. Yeah, I don't remember. But the coronavirus then, yeah, so I wonder what other people think about it. Oh, are we going to make that? Oh, that was quite tight. I feel like that was very tight. Oh, I was talking about the Spanish flu, wasn't I? Yep. So yeah, people have drawn conclusions between the Spanish flu and the coronavirus. I can definitely see that. Are you gonna let me out? No, you are not gonna let me out. I'm gonna need the other side, guys. I need the other side. Here we go. I'm gonna have to wait. Here we go. And we're leaving Hanover. Rex, you do not help the situation, my friend. Okay, we are away. But I do think the media has over-dramatized certain things. I really do. For example, I see quite frequently. Well, it's going well. It's going well. About as well as it usually does go for me. I think that's a late yellow ref, so I think we're fine. But yeah, I see things all the time on the news now, and it sort of put me off watching it, if I'm honest. About how I don't know, how there's like the pandemic has hit, and there's however many deaths have risen in the last 24 hours, and what are people going to do if you don't stay at home? You're going to die, and all these things. And I know some outlets are worse than others. The BBC, I have to admit, I've been surprised actually. The BBC, which I sometimes naively perhaps, but I believe the BBC is relatively impartial. I know it's definitely supposed to be impartial, but you know, you could argue what news outlet actually is fully impartial. But I think the BBC do a decent job, certainly better than a lot of American news outlets and UK news outlets as well. You know, I'm not excusing the UK in this. Places like tabloids like The Mirror and the Daily Mail and things like that. I mean, if you like that sort of thing, and that's where you get your information from, then fine. I'm not going to tell you don't do that. I just think that if you want proper news, if you want genuine impartial advice, and whatever else, you know, just facts, information, go to a reputable source. Don't go to somewhere like the Daily Express or something like that, because it is so over dramatic. I see it all the time on what do you call it, MSN, when you use like Microsoft Edge or whatever on your desktop, on your home computer, and or Bing, isn't it? Yeah, Bing's MSN, just like the front page. I know what I mean. And all those sort of stories are on there, and they sort of scroll across from left to right. And what is going on up here? Oh no, what is going on up here? Oh, you're fucking joking. Did I go through a roadblock somewhere and I didn't notice? This hasn't just happened. Oh, fuck me. There's no other cars though, which sort of makes me feel like I've gone through a roadblock somewhere. Well, we're going to have to go around him because I don't think he's going to go anywhere. Ooh, put it in gear, that would help. There's a fire, isn't it? Oh dear. No, because there's a truck behind me. Oh, well, that's not hugely legit. Oh, and he's just ate shit. Okay. But it wasn't me for once, so that's nice. But yeah, on MSN, I keep getting distracted, I'm sorry. I see things like, it's usually about the weather, being Britain. It's very stereotypical, I know, but it usually is. Something along the lines of like Arctic blast to destroy Britain, or heat wave to kill thousands, or something like that. And I just think when you have headlines like that, it makes people panic. It makes people scared, and people who don't know any better, not because they're stupid, but because they rely on these places to get all their news, all their information. They have busy lives or whatever. They don't have time to fact check everything, so they stick on the news in the morning, or they read an article whilst they're eating breakfast or whatever it might be. I need to change down because we're not getting up this hill very easily. And you've got these tabloids and papers, headlines, whatever it might be, spreading not necessarily fake news. I don't know if it's fake news, but it's certainly over dramatized, and yeah, okay, the Covid-19 virus is a pandemic, fair enough, right, it's a pandemic, but what does that mean? That word gets thrown around so much. See, to me, that word alone sounds pretty bad. If someone tells me, that there's going to be this pandemic, it's going to sweep across the nation, you immediately sort of think, your mind immediately goes to, like, I don't know about apocalypse style scenarios, but pretty bad, and I think the tabloids, these news outlets, they really prey on that. They really prey on people's imaginations of what these words mean, and how I suppose people have never experienced anything like this in the past. And I think they really do exploit. They really do exploit people, and I think it's wrong. I think it's hugely wrong. But what do you do about it? I mean, freedom of the press and everything, they can say what they want. It's just trying to spread the right messages, I think, and trying to rat out fake news or misleading news. And what they don't tend to publish are figures concerning other diseases, other infections, pandemics, whatever. They don't tend to publish stuff like that. So I watched a BBC News. It was BBC Breakfast, which is on in the mornings in the UK, and they were, oh god, I'm doing 87, that's not good. Let's slow that up there a little bit. There we go. Stick cruise control on so I don't have to think about the speed whilst I'm talking. So yeah, they were saying, who did they have on? I forget who they had on. Oh Christ. But he was an expert in his field, a scientist, and I assume he was working on something to do with COVID-19, or they were at least, he was at least well versed in that field anyway. And he was saying, well, every year worldwide, you sort of get probably about 500,000 people die of a flu, of influenza. Now, I haven't seen that really reported by any news outlets, and I think it puts it into perspective really well. See, influenza kills worldwide every year tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, and it's just not being mentioned. And I think the reason why no one's mentioned it is because it puts it into perspective. When you hear the coronavirus has killed, I don't know, a couple of thousand people worldwide, and the last, oh fuck, I thought that was a speeding ticket then. I was like, that can't be possible. Cruise control wouldn't do that to me. Although cruise control is currently doing that to me. We're going 4 miles an hour over because we're going downhill. What was I saying? It puts it into perspective. If people heard however many thousand people died in the last couple of months from coronavirus worldwide compared to how many people died of complications relating to either the common cold or the flu or similar minor ailments, I think it would change the tone of how people behave. Now, I'm not saying that this thing shouldn't be taken seriously, of course it should be, and people shouldn't be putting themselves at risk. Right now, I can tell you, right now, next door to me, there is a house party going on. Not a house party with just people from that house, but people have come from loads of other places to this house party. And at the moment in the UK, as I speak, gatherings of more than 2 people are banned. 2 people are banned, and they've got a house full next door right now of loads of different people. Now that is stupid. That is absolutely ridiculous. I was a little bit bewildered when I saw a whole load of flashing lights next door, because they've got like a light machine, like a strobe machine. And it's just not that. It's just not appropriate. It's not the time to be doing that now. We've got all the warnings. We've got all the information. Some of it might be right. Some of it might be wrong. Some of it's more misleading than other bits. But the general consensus is people know that this virus is potentially dangerous. Now, it's dangerous mainly to people who are elderly or have underlying health conditions. So people who have weaker immune systems. Perhaps if you take a certain type of medication or a combination of different medication that leads to a weakened immune system, you could be at risk. If you're just elderly in general, you're at risk. But the thing that really should be driven home, which is really important to understand, is that these things are not unique to this virus. These things are common in every single type of virus. People with weak immune systems and the elderly will always be at risk from viral infections. Always. And it's not some kind of thing that is unique to Covid-19. These things will always be pose a risk to people who have these underlying health conditions or weak immune systems. And I really don't think that's being driven home in the media. And I really believe that is part of the reason why people are panicking. Because people see death rate increases by 179 in 24 hours, or death rate doubles in a week, or whatever it might be. They see all that stuff in the papers or on the news, and they think, oh well, people, there's so many people dying at the moment, I'm at risk of dying. In reality, if you are healthy and you're below the age of 70 years old on the whole, and you don't have any underlying health conditions, the worst thing that's going to happen to you, and this is only if you develop severe enough symptoms, and it varies between people. Someone might get it really bad, someone might not get it bad at all. For some it might not even be more than a nasty cold. For some it will mean that you're completely knocked out of it for a couple of weeks, and you're gonna feel really rough, just like you would with a really bad flu. But there's not much more to it than that right now. I wasn't sure if that... maybe it doesn't merge. I wasn't sure. I hope there's not a car there. I don't have track IR. I want to make that clear. I do not have track IR, so whenever I want to look at my mirrors, I have to move my mouse, which isn't necessarily an issue, but when I'm trying to like steer and change gear, I can't really be taking my hand off to look. So if sometimes I make dodgy moves like that without looking, that's why. But anyway, I really should have got oh, I sort of do have a glass of water. Not 100% convinced that's a new glass of water. we might go for it. Hang on, I'm gonna have a glass of water. Oh, fuck no. Almost went off the road. I think that is okay, actually. I think it is a new glass of water. I'm not that bad, usually. I don't tend to have like glasses and bowls stuck in my room for, you know, days on end or anything like that. Anyway, so COVID-19, it's a pain in the arse, and the real danger, I think, is going to be an economic one. Yes, people are going to die from it, and that's horrible. And I'm not belittling that at all, but you know, these things happen, and like I say, they happen every year, and they happen with colds and flus and other common minor viral diseases. And COVID-19, or the coronavirus as it is known, is not unique in that respect, and it will kill people, but it won't do so in a manner that is abnormal to the nature of the virus, of that type of virus at all. You know, that it's quite normal. The real risk, I suppose, for people is that it's a new virus and there is no vaccination against the virus, although people seem to be able to develop immunities to it after having it and getting rid of it, which is good. I mean, that's to be expected. You would do the same with a cold or a flu virus. The difference being, of course, cold and flu viruses, they mutate every year. You get a different strain, a slightly different strain, so that's why they never go away, because every single year you get a slightly different strain, which means that the body loses its ability to repel it, or doesn't lose its ability to repel it, because you still get over the virus, but it loses its ability to instantly destroy it as soon as it recognises it's in the body. And that's all to do with antibodies, and I won't get into it. I'm not a biologist, and I don't claim to have that sort of knowledge. All I know is that all this dramatisation in the media is not helping, and all these big bold fonts and red texts, and the BBC currently have a thing going on with the like a special report that they do on giving information on the coronavirus, which I think is a good idea. I do think that's a good idea, but in this special report segment, which is quite a large segment, they have this big bold red background with the sort of artist impression of what the virus looks like. Oh, we've got rain. Now, here's a test. Is these my wipers? No, those are my lights. Those are my wipers. Well, I need my lights on anyway. Well, let's get the wipers on full. Okay, maybe that's a bit much. Oh, that's really coming down, isn't it? Gosh, that turned a bit quick. And traffic's slowing up, as they always do in the rain. And we do have a junction turn off here. Now, is this the one I want? Oh, shit. No, wait, is it? Yes, it is. Sorry. No, it is the one I want. I got a bit confused then. It's fine. Probably scared someone half to death behind me. Or a truck was just about to pull out on me. I'm just going to hope that there's no one there again. Let me just deal with this first. Concentrate on getting up this hill. Come on, mate. Come on. Go on. Oh, no. Ah, you're going to make me lose all my speed. Oh, that's really annoying. Damn you. It's fine. I'll be okay. Yeah, he's got a heavier load than I do. Can't really see very much out of my mirror. Ooh. That's a confusing junction, that one. We don't have junctions like that in the UK, or at least I've certainly never driven around one. If we have, I've never seen it. Okay. Good, good. Lovely, jubbly. And we're back on the road. On the 3. According to my map. Ooh, looks like we do need a rest actually. Well, we can take this opportunity to park up and have one. Good timing. Right. Trucks this way. Yeah, just in here. Pick a space, any space. This one will do. That'll do, donkey. Not quite straight, but oh, that's not bad. That's pretty good. We will shut off our lights. And we'll get some rest. Once we turn off the engine, that is. And here we are. At the dead of night. The rain has stopped. Clear skies. The distant rumble of thunder though. But we're all good. Do some night driving now. Exciting. I have to admit, in real life, I hate driving at night. I really, really don't enjoy it. I don't think many people do enjoy it, to be honest, but I certainly don't. I can do it. You know, I'm not. It doesn't scare me driving at night. I just don't enjoy driving at night. I get such a nasty headache. It's eye strain, I think, really. Especially for any amount of time. But yeah, you know, I was saying about that BBC thing, and I'm sure they're not the only ones that do it. I haven't really watched many others. I don't want it to seem like I'm picking on the BBC necessarily. Like I said, I tend to think of them as relatively impartial, so they are my preferred choice almost. Channel 4 is good. Channel 4 is decent. But again, they are sort of in collaboration with the BBC almost. Well, okay, maybe not quite, but they're certainly, I believe, I could be wrong, and correct me if I am, but I believe in the UK, Channel 4 is state funded. Is that right? I think it's a state funded. Oh, I'm going a bit fast. I think it's a state funded news network, but people don't pay licenses for it, TV licenses, like they do for the BBC, because they run ads on their channels. I think. I could be very wrong about that. But anyway, that's besides the point. So, yeah, I think that there's a lot of over-dramatisation around, and I don't think the media is helping that at all, or they're the main cause of it. And as a result, people are going out and they're panic buying, and they're doing all sorts of stupid things, and it annoys me because you sort of want to blame the people that are going out and they're buying, the classic is toilet roll at the moment, isn't it? People going out and emptying the shelves of toilet roll. Hand sanitizer, that was one of the first things to go, wasn't it? And all sorts of things. I tell you what, in my I've got 2 shops near me, a Lidl, I've got a Tesco's, and the Tesco's is only a little one. It's a little Tesco's extra, so you can sort of forgive them maybe. But the Lidl is a bit bigger, and you've got other shops around as well, but those are the 2 closest to me. And you can go in either of those, and God, the shelves are bare, and it amazes me. Why are they bare? Why are you going in and buying sort of like 3 loaves of bread, fresh bread? Like, okay, I get you can freeze bread. I freeze bread, but okay, I don't have a family to feed, I understand that, but the government is not about to say to everybody, that's it, you can't leave the house for 3 months, you can't go and buy food, you have to live off whatever you have in the house, and if you don't have enough, well, that's it, sorry, game over for you. I don't think so. People really believe that? I can't see that they do. So why on earth do people feel the need to go and stockpile like they do? It does annoy me, I'm not gonna lie, because people like me, I'm a student, if you didn't know, and I need to be able to go out and get food relatively regularly because I house share with 3 other people, and we only have 1 fridge freezer, and that's all that came with the house. In fact, there was another fridge freezer, or maybe it was a mini fridge, just a mini fridge, that came with the house, but that was broken when we moved in, so that got chucked, and our landlord hasn't done anything about that, despite asking, and we haven't brought a new one. We haven't gone and got a new one, and you could say, well, go and get a new one, but we've managed okay, to be honest. It's not been an issue, but it does mean that we sort of get 1 shelf in the fridge each and 1 drawer in the freezer each, and that is quite common in student accommodation. It's quite common in student houses. Now, that's fine, but if you then need to go shopping sort of you probably need to do a little shop every 3 days or so, because there's only so much you can actually stock in the house. And when people are stripping all these shelves bare, so there's no bread, there's no milk, there's no things like toilet roll, that's not as big of a deal because usually we have, spare toilet roll, but even that will run out, and if we can't get any more, but it applies for everything. Eggs, that's gone. What else is gone? There's loads of stuff. A lot of the cooked meat, not cooked meats, raw meats are gone. I went into... Where did I go? I went into Tesco's, and all they had one evening were 5 chicken mini fillets. 5 chicken mini fillets, and there was one other thing. That was it. Now I know it's a small Tesco's, but even so, that was crazy. How do people think that that's okay? That they can just go in and just grab a whole load of chicken, whole load of pork, because people must be doing it. People must be. The silly thing is, I haven't met a single person who actually stockpiles their food at all. I haven't met a single one. So, people must be doing it though, because otherwise why would the shelves be empty? People must be changing their shopping habits. But I think a lot of it is down to the media over-dramatising it all. People get scared, people get worried, they worry for their families and for their own safety, and they feel the need to buy a whole load of stuff, including freezers. You know, people have been buying new freezers so they can stockpile even more food. Oh, we've got a toll. Is this a toll or is this a border? No, it's a border, I think. Yeah, there's a border. That's quite cool. Very cool. What country are we in now, then? I don't think we're certainly not in Austria yet. I don't know where we are. But yeah, I don't know. Be interested to see what other people think. I don't agree with stockpiling food. There's a lot of people out there, and I mean, I know I've talked about my experience and how it's made my shopping more difficult, but in reality, I can get by. Whatever happens, I'll manage. You know, I can, if needs must, I can get in the car. Well, I can't at the moment actually because it's dead, but I'll talk about that in a bit. But you know, if needs must, I can get to another shop. I can get on a bus even, and I can go to a shop that's, I don't know, like there's a big Asda, which is sort of like a Walmart. If you're not from the UK and you're from the US, for example, it's actually owned by Walmart, which a lot of people I don't think realise. I didn't realise until not that long ago, but rebranded for purposes, I guess, because Asda was better with UK audiences. I don't know. Consumer research. I've not got any skill in consumer research. Why are we going so slowly, folks? Even he's going around him. Why is everybody getting in the left-hand lane? Is there something you're not telling me? I feel like there is. I'm going to get in the left-hand lane too. Oh, okay, never mind. Ow. Saw that in the last second. What the fuck are you doing? Jesus. Okay. Eurotruck AI. Good. I'm pretty sure I saw that guy in my mirror, and I'm pretty sure I started indicating before he got close to me. I know I just undertook him, but he's going very slow. What was I saying? I keep getting distracted. Almost died then. I can't remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, that I can go to the shops, but yeah, other people can't. You know, if you're 88 years old and you live at home by yourself, for example, or you've got a partner with you, but they are, you know, they're of a similar age, and you're not able anymore to really venture too far to go and get shopping. You certainly can't carry shopping home, or can't carry very much shopping home. And all of a sudden all these shelves are bare and you can't get the food you need. What are you supposed to do? But I feel like that just must not cross people's minds. These people who are buying in bulk, who are, you know, emptying the shelves, they just don't care. And it's incredibly selfish. And I wish people could see that, could see how selfish they were. Oh, that's bright. Bloody hell. Oh, Christ. Like the Blackpool Illuminations. it is bright. It's really cool, the lights though, like the little pulsing lights. I like that. I am using a graphics mod for this. It's on Steam. I forget the name of it, but it's the highest rated graphics mod on Steam. If your computer is, you know, semi decent and can run ETS with a decent frame rate, then I really suggest getting this mod, because it does make lighting and everything a lot better. Now this is a toll. Shall we follow them through? In fact, I don't know if I can follow them through. We'll just pay the toll. Hello! €8. That's a pretty good deal. I'll take €8. We will follow the Sandvik truck. I think that's a Sandvik. We get to go back through another tunnel. So yeah, that's basically my opinion. Very long-winded. I've talked for ages. It feels like I probably have talked for ages. Certainly wasn't what this video is supposed to be. I hope it's actually been a bit relaxing, you know. We've still got 3 hours left on the GPS. That isn't real time, that is ETS time. But it's still a decent way. I didn't clock how long the journey was when we started. I feel like it was a pretty decently long journey though. But anyway. So yeah, that's my opinions on the coronavirus and you know, how people are reacting and the media and everything like that. And I don't know, maybe people have different opinions than me. I expect they do. That's fine. Be interesting to hear them. And if perhaps you are someone that has stockpiled food, and you think that what I'm saying is unfair, then please do try and explain your point. I want to hear it, because I'm not in the position where I need to do that. Well, I'm not in the position where I can do that if I wanted to be honest. Like I said, with very limited freezer storage space. And it is just me, you know. I don't have a family, and I do get that people are looking out for kids and are looking out for loved ones. So I'm not a heartless beast or anything, but I do think it is a bit selfish, certainly for older people. Let's see if we can jump this lorry. Yeah. Ooh. I think we have, you know. We'll let this go across. Not that we really needed to jump him, but if you can, you can, I suppose. In terms of my car, though, yeah, that's dead. Great. It's not a massive problem. It's just a flat battery. I haven't driven it in a while. In probably about 3 weeks, it's been sat there, and it's an old car. It's getting on for 16 years old now. So I wouldn't be surprised if the battery was a little bit dodgy. That could be a reason. I'm pretty sure I didn't leave any lights on, and the reason why I say that is, well, one, I certainly don't remember leaving any lights on. Two, it's parked literally outside my window. My car is exactly outside my window, and I'm on the ground floor. So if I had left any lights on at all, I find it very difficult to believe I wouldn't have noticed, you know? Looking out of my window, I would have seen it straight away, and even if I hadn't looked out my window, I would have seen the lights shining through my window when it got dark. So I find it almost impossible to believe that I left lights on. And I think it's just down to the fact that I hadn't driven it, and that and maybe the battery has just sort of gone flat, which I guess can happen. I'm not a mechanic, but it sounds plausible to me. So I'm gonna have to get that sorted now, which is fun. I'm with Gem Motoring Assist. I found that they were the best for what I wanted. I am a young driver, and as such, insurance and breakdown cover and all these things are hugely expensive. Oh, this is Graz or Graz, so we are in Austria, I think. Yeah, all these things are hugely expensive. Silly sorts of money, and you know, you gotta go for the one that's the best that you can at what you can afford. And Gem is pretty damn good, to be honest with you. Oh shit, we're going this way. Oh, brake. Just about made that. That's what happens when you don't pay attention. Let's just hope and pray that there's nothing coming. There isn't. That's wonderful. What have we got? Oh, God. 90. Wonderful. The first time I played through this game, I went for a base in Grimsby, actually, because I'm currently in Hull. So shout out if you are in Hull. Well done. Congratulations. You've made it. And if you live in Hull, you'll appreciate the sarcasm. But anyway, yeah, I put a base in Grimsby, which it's not Hull, but it's just across the river from Hull. I'm going too fast. Oh, it's a 70. Is it? I did not see 70. Fair enough. And I sort of realised that a right-hand drive truck with mile-an-hour displays is all very well and good when you're driving in the UK, fine, perfect. Pretty awful for the entire rest of the game. Because you spend most of your time, just naturally spend most of your time on the continent, on, like, actually in mainland Europe, in European countries, and I sort of found that actually it makes no sense to have a right-hand drive truck with a mile an hour speedo, because it just makes my life more difficult when driving throughout probably 90% of the game. I wouldn't say I spent more than 10% of any of my time in the UK. So when I started this save, I picked Hanover because I thought, well, it's relatively central. I thought it was a good shout. Slow her down. Slow her down. Here we go. Lovely jubbly. Yeah, well, yeah, I suppose that's about it. That's all I really had to say, and we are almost there now, 26 minutes. Very, very close. And I guess these are the Alps. Obviously, not the main Alps, the foothills. Oh, we're turning again. Almost did it for a second time. Didn't actually need to fill up at all on the way here, which is good. I don't actually like investing in the fuel economy level up, because I feel like the time between fuel stops without, like, just default, without leveling it up at all. We have arrived, look at that. I'm not even gonna, I'll go on, oh, it's gone. I couldn't even have a go at pronouncing it. Yeah, the time arriving between fuel stops seems pretty realistic to me, to be honest. So I didn't really want to change it, because if you sort of drive 300 miles to get somewhere, you would probably expect to need to fill up with fuel. I don't know. Guess each to their own. I shan't tell anybody else what to do or how to play their sim. You play it however you want to play it. Does that mean I can still go? I feel like it does. That's a yellow. That is a yellow. That was a yellow that time. Thank you. That, we're not making that, are we? Yeah. I preempted that one. Okay, so they have flashing green instead of a yellow. Which, oh no, they still have yellow. They just have a flashing green to warn you about the yellow that comes before the red. That is an interesting technique. I quite like that though. So we go through these ones. Could probably cut down there, to be honest. Oh shit, not paying any attention. But we'll follow the GPS just in case. We don't want to end up going underneath a bridge that we need to be going over. I've done that before. I thought I've beat the GPS and take a different route that looked like a shortcut, and I ended up going under a bypass that I was supposed to be on, and then yeah, it just ended up being a much longer-winded route than it needed to be. Don't need those lights on now. Oh, yeah, we could have done. Yeah, it comes out here, doesn't it? It's alright. It's all good. When you've driven the distance we've just driven, you know, an extra 5 seconds onto your journey is not really the end of the world. Here we are, just up here on the right, and we will park it. I always do. God, we're hitting all the red lights, aren't we? My Wunderbaren tree pine air freshener. Lovely jubbly. Oh, there's an aircraft over there. Must be the local airport, which is interesting. I do also have a flight simulator, so X-Plane 11, that I've only recently got. But if you would like to see me fly that, I don't claim to be a pilot, I'm not that amazing. but I do relatively realistic flights, so I might put one of them up. I don't think I've flown to Austria. Have I flown to? No, I don't think I have. So that would be quite interesting. Right, let's have a look at this. What's the best way? I think we can just. We've got plenty of room. It's not really a big deal. I'll turn her around, and I will bring up my other mirror for this, because like I said, I don't have track IR, so if I had track IR I wouldn't need to, but as I don't, I do need to. Oh, that's the wrong way. Excuse the noise of my wheel, it is noisy, I know. I'm just gonna let it roll back on the clutch actually. Seems to be doing okay. That is going to be too tight of an angle there, I think. It's not a bad effort, but yeah, I think it is just going to be a bit too tight of an angle. It says it's okay, but I'm not. Well, I mean, it is actually. Which one is it? Is it? That's the one. No, no, it's not. It's not. Nah, we'll have another go at that. We nearly got it though. I think that is probably a bit of a better angle, although we're still not quite straight. Oh, that's the wrong way. Oh dear. Come on now. That's going to be too far across, isn't it? That's actually, it's accepted it. Shall we take that? I feel like we should take that. I mean, it's not awful. It's relatively decent. That's okay. That's fine. Yeah, no, I'll take that. That's alright. It's a bit too far over on one side, but that's not our problem. Right, we'll detach. And here we are. Excellent job. 976 kilometers, 23 hours and 3 minutes. Like I said, I knew it would be a long one. Big old chunk on the level up, lovely, and only 22,122, which is a little bit sad. It was a long way to go for not that much money, but there we go. Hopefully it made for at least a enjoyable video, or a relaxing video. Well, that concludes our story time today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that it wasn't too much of a rant and it was actually sort of like a semi interesting thing to listen to and to watch. That's about my personal views. I know they're not particularly important, but you know, they're important to me and I will share them as I see fit. So yeah, that's what I think anyway. We'll just hop into the cab so we don't have all this music going on. Right, well that does it for today then. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again quite soon. I don't know when the next upload is going to be. I sort of just do them as and when I want to do them. I find that that's the most enjoyable way of recording. If I try and work to a schedule with various other things that I also have to do in real life, I don't know, it becomes a bit more of a chore and it puts me off. Whereas if I do it like this, it's far more enjoyable for me and I feel like I make better content. So anyway, I'll stop rambling. I've talked enough. Thank you much for watching and I will see you again next time. Bye bye.